I yield myself the balance of the time.
Gentleman recognized.
I'm glad my colleague from Michigan just spoke, and I think laid it out very clearly what's before us. He said this is the 8th time, and we call it an emergency. This is the hurricane season. I assume that if there are 8 hurricanes, that when the damage is done the 8th time, we'll call it for what it is, an emergency. So the fact that this is the 8th time, first of all, it shows that under presidents of both parties, we've extended in an unfunded way as an emergency. But I think what this shows is that indeed it is an emergency for numerous families. Essentially, the minority is looking for cover. This is an emergency within statutory pay-go that passed this Congress, so we are following it. The Senate rejected it last night, short 1 vote, only because of the death of Senator Byrd, and there were only 2 Republicans. His position may be filled as we mourn him, and then this bill can pass the Senate, and hopefully there'll be more than 2 Republicans, the rest standing in the way. There's been some reference here to job loss. I just want to repeat, during the 8 years of the Bush administration, there was a loss of 673,000 private sector jobs. In the first 5 months of 2010 alone, there's been a gain of 495,000 private sector jobs. So even that excuse won't work, nor the notion of the deficit when those who are trying to invoke it help to create most of it. So I simply want to read some stories, because everybody needs to go home and face people like this. I start with a gentleman from Warren, Michigan. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and I'm trying to get things going, but I need just a little more help. And next, a person in touch with us from Grand Rapids, and I quote, I worked 22 years in automotive, 60 to 70 hours a week, supporting my family, paid my taxes, and worked in my community. Every single day I send my resume out to no avail. And I interrupt this quote, don't say these are people who are not looking for work. That's also an excuse that won't work. And I continue. He said, I have lost my home and 1 vehicle and my sense of the ability to take care of my family. And now a person from Madison Heights, Michigan. We depend on unemployment to help pay our house payment and our bills. Without that check, we would definitely lose our house. And now this person from Fraser, Michigan. And there are people like this throughout the country. As of June 2nd, and I quote, I will no longer be collecting unemployment on the emergency extension. I cannot stress to you enough how very hopeless this all is for me and millions of people. I have worked since I was 13, making my own way, served my country in the Vietnam War, raising a family, paying my taxes, and now facing total ruin. What is being done to help people like me in my time of need? The answer on the minority side, with a few exceptions, too few, is nothing. A cold shoulder, an excuse. The next I quote from a person in Sterling Heights, a woman who wrote this. My husband is a union electrician and is about to lose his unemployment. He has always worked and never been laid off for more than a few months until now. No matter how hard he tries to find work, there is not much work in the building construction in Michigan. This extension can't wait much longer. End of quote. What the minority has been saying, and I hope it won't say today, is the answer is you will wait, and you will wait, and you will wait. The House will pass this. We'll send it to the Senate. I hope with some bipartisan support here. It will go to the Senate, and as I said before, I hope as their first order of business, they'll find the 60 votes. To do that, those in the minority will have to rise above politics. For a moment, they'll have to put down their political banner and remember the plight of not only 1,700,000, but their families and more to be added, while this institution, without bipartisan help, has not responded. There's only one answer: no excuses. None holds any water. We are holding up the basic elements of life for millions of Americans. We can do better. We must do better. We shall do better in just a few moments. I yield back the balance of my time.
All time.